One of the things I frequently hear from candidates is that it's an incredibly competitive market. So knowing that, you have to figure out ways to stand out so that when you apply to a role and you interview, you have a better chance of getting an offer. In today's video, I'm going to give you 6 concrete ways for you to stand out in a competitive market. Let's go. Now, the first thing that you need to do is you need to understand your competitive advantages. So what are these? These are the things that allow you to stand out and differentiate yourself away from your competition. You need to be familiar with them so that when you're in the interview process, you can speak to them confidently and completely. So when you're brainstorming these and you're thinking, okay, so what are my competitive advantages? What you want to do is you want to think of, okay, what is the most significant accomplishment in my career? What are the things I have in my background that other people who do what I do don't have in their backgrounds? And where do I consistently outperform my peers? When you start to think about these things and you write them down, they allow you to form really strong talking points so that when you're in the interview, you can actually speak to them. Now, furthermore, when you look at some of these accomplishments, some of the things you've done, it makes sense to quantify them, right? So I accomplished X during this amount of time, which saved my company this amount of money. That is a powerful thing to be able to share in an interview that will allow you to stand out. The next thing that you need to do to succeed in a competitive candidate market is network. But network in 2 different ways. So first and foremost, when people think network, they usually think, oh, I need to go out and meet with people on LinkedIn, and I need to connect with people, and I need to reach out to hiring managers, and there's certainly a time and place for that. But the first thing I want to talk about is actually reconnecting with your current network. Most people focus on building a new one, but they fail to leverage their existing network. So what does this look like? This can look like reaching out to people who you've worked with in the past and connecting with them. This can look like connecting with prior bosses, prior teammates, and just reaching out and asking to get a coffee with them, or meet them for a virtual Zoom, or have a phone call and say, hey, how are things going? I really enjoyed working with you. Just want to let you know that I'm starting to open up my search and consider roles. If you think of anything that comes along, I'd love the opportunity to work with you, or if you have any recommendations, I'd certainly take that advice. Just doing that consistently and reaching out to a person or 2 a week that you used to work with can be massive. Now, the second thing I want you to do is I do want you to connect with people who are new to your network, especially if they belong to companies that you're interested in working for. Reach out to people who would be the hiring managers for the type of roles you want to interview with. Send them a connection request. Ask them to set up a time to connect. Now, not every single person is going to connect with you. They're not all going to take the bait, but if you do this frequently enough, you will start to build connections. You will start to create inroads into organizations that you might be attracted to. By the way, if you were finding any value in this video, do me a favor and please hit that like button. It is free to you and it helps me tremendously. It tells YouTube that I don't suck. And if you're not already subscribed, well, subscribe. That way you get 3 new videos free every single week in which I teach you how to interview and land your dream job. But the next thing I want you to do is I want you to apply early. I've seen so many posts on LinkedIn where people are complaining because they go to apply for a role and they see that there's 250 applicants and it's only been open 2 weeks. Well, this is pretty common as it becomes really competitive in the market. So what you need to do is you need to set reminders on LinkedIn. This is actually pretty easy. Anytime you go to that search bar and you search for a role, a bunch of roles come up. And you can actually select different geographies, different organizations, different levels, etc. And then LinkedIn prompts you to save that information. And if you save that information, they will actually send you daily reminders about new jobs that are coming open. And as those new jobs come open and you see them, you want to apply immediately. Because often if you're not in that first 25 or 50 candidates, they're not even going to look at you. I've seen hiring managers post that they're taking down their jobs early because they've already got 130 applicants. So it is key that you are amongst that early wave of people who are qualified. Otherwise, you might not even get viewed. Now, this next thing kind of is common sense, but I feel it's important to say it here. You have to crush your interview. It's not enough to have a great resume. It's not enough to get to the interview. But once you're there, you need to be prepared to absolutely crush it. So what are the things you can do? You can watch numerous of my videos that are going to teach you how to stand out and crush your interviews and do well and send thank you notes and all those things. You can also go to my playlist where I have frequently asked questions in the interview and watch those and prepare your responses. But it's important to prepare. Know about the organization, know about the role, know about the people you're connecting with, and prepare some of your responses to the questions you can anticipate getting so that you absolutely crush your interview. Because the difference between having a good interview and a great interview is often the difference between you not getting the job and you getting the job. Now, the last thing I need you to do is you need to have a memory of a goldfish. Shout out to Ted Lasso. What I mean by that is I need you to have positive outlook on everything. And if you apply for a job and you get rejected, or if you interview for a job and they decide to go with another candidate, you can't let it get you down. What you don't want is that negative energy impacting future interviews. So when things don't go your way, just understand there are a lot of good reasons why great candidates don't get a job. You can still be a great candidate, but not get the offer you're hoping to for a job you're really excited for. Speaking of that, I don't want you to feel depressed. I'd rather you feel happy. So I made this video here. This video here is how to get a job in 6 minutes. And what I do here is I tell you how to nail the first 3 minutes and the last 3 minutes, because scientifically, those time periods actually have a bigger impact on whether or not you get the role. I talk about it in here, but trust me, if you want to stand out in a crowded, competitive candidate market, this is the type of video you need to go watch next. I'm done here, but I will see you over there.